opening my tea party just for you. Who is that? It's Ririna, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. It's time to react to the Arknights EP, which there are so many. I'm probably going to have to divvy this up in multiple parts like I did with the trailers and the PVs, so you can look forward to more every week from me in that regard. Anyways, let's get started already, because there is a lot, my kits. So that will be a lot of fun. Oh, but I do know that the EPs are focused on specific characters. So maybe that first one is either on Exusii or Texas. And this one is clearly Blaze. Boiling blood, huh? Fits her. I will be pausing a few times in between songs if I have something that I really want to say. But if not, then I'm just gonna keep going at it like this. Blaze is a very straightforward person, so this is going to be very interesting. I think she's the type that wears her heart on her sleeve. At least that's what I felt when I was seeing her interact with us in the main story. And the way she apologizes to Greythroat. Also, the artwork is gorgeous. Ah, there we go. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I especially like her because she's super dependable. But at the same time, I do worry sometimes about her. I suppose the aspect of her where she can't control her emotions sometimes when it comes to observing and analyzing a situation, which I don't think is a bad thing, honestly, since I think they do need someone like that instead of someone who's always analytical for Rhodes Island. Fated to pretend. The type who never gives up. You know, this song can actually fit well with another series, Ruby. In some ways, this song is very relatable for a lot of characters who are very straightforward and wear their heart on their sleeve when they fight and when they go about life. And they don't like liars or those that are not clear. That's probably why she was uncomfortable with Greythroat too. Well, not to mention her own prejudices against those who aren't infected. But she's mature enough to own up to that and overcome that side of her. That's pretty much what I got from Boiling Blood. Let's see this one, Untitled World. Hey, the chapter I'm in. I have no idea what's going on. It's probably a good thing though. Wow, that was definitely about their pain and suffering and how they're overcoming it or how they're dealing with it. That was interesting. Timeless. Beagle and Cruz. I'm recognizing them. Cute though. Look at her shiny bright eyes. I guess this one is no lyrics? In that case, I'll pay more attention to the instrumental, well, instruments that they use. Seems like there's a lot of wind instruments that they're using. It gives the music quite the feeling of wind blowing through. Well, not because they're just using wind instruments. I mean, the wind instruments brings about that effect. And if you think of timeless, you think of nature and the wind itself. And it kind of has a... like the tune itself reminds me of a lot of Asian music, like the traditional way of, like the traditional music that they play back in the old times. That's probably the koto, right? Or at least the equivalent of it. I forgot what the eru, I think that's what it was called in the Chinese equivalent. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Lots of flutes there. Yeah, this whole EP is very airy. And I definitely can see and imagine, like, for example, being on a mountain and then the winds and it's a bright sunny day. Puts you in a very good mood. So the image being used here really fits with it. It's a good day. Making memories that are timeless. I think those are brass instruments that are being played. Gives the whole music more depth. Then again, I'm not like familiar with instruments used in symphonic bands or something. I'm more familiar with string instruments since I was part of an orchestra in the past. But that was a long time ago. The finality at the end, oh, that was so satisfying to listen to. Solitary Journey. I assume it's going to be a lot heavier. Yeah, with the strings. And the piano. I like how the beats are very, very minimal. So the main focus are the strings. Oh, and the voices are coming in now. It's definitely a lot heavier compared to Timeless, with the use of the voices, the strings, the minimal beats, and only doing that boom, that really loud one at specific moments. I feel like this type of music is something you would expect to hear from a very epic show, or even from a movie, like the most epic moments. A very holy moment with the voice, because of the voices. It makes me wonder when they played this music in the game. I think I hear cello and bass. Oh no, that was bass. And I also like the way I believe it's the violins and probably the violas are playing the same melody as the voice until like a certain part, and it like drifts away, splits. The whole Although you could tell it's heavy as a whole, it's also kind of creepy in some ways. Everything's super careful as they're coming together. But at the same time, I tend to notice that, like, especially in series where some kind of holy moment is happening, like some kind of like god or something is descending in the scene, then they usually have songs with voices, right? So when you hear that, it can feel both creepy and awe-inspiring. I kind of get a feeling of both, depending on what part of the EP we're in for this particular piece. But I would totally want to hear this in an actual concert with a live orchestra. It'd be very fascinating and very beautiful to listen to. I know there are concerts for this, but I mean, like, it would be cool to listen to it in person. I feel like it would be a lot more impactful. Hometown Wind. So I guess for the previous one, the character that was on there had some pretty intense stuff that happened to them. And it's probably a reflection of their inner self or their life, embodiment of their life. And now this one is like a totally opposite. It sounds very freeing. See this image right here? That's what I was imagining when I was listening to Timeless. It just puts you in a very good mood. And it kind of makes you feel nostalgic in some ways. Like when you're imagining like your childhood memories. I feel like this song is very much the epitome of nostalgia and safety and adventures. The excitement for the future that many of us has probably lost. Unfortunately. But it's things like this that makes us remember those moments and to relive that feeling. Making life more bearable. So I guess for her, she's still in her innocent or hopeful version of herself. Or even if she went through a lot, she still maintains the hope that she has for the future. That's kind of the feeling that I get with this music. But also Hometown Wind, it could be that she still feels connected to her hometown or her origins. And that has enabled her to become a very strong person in the inside. Or maybe she's not actually strong and I just can't figure it out. I'm kind of just looking at various aspects of the music. And depending on the type of music I'm listening to, I'll either talk about the feeling it gives me, what I'm imagining, what I assume based on the music I'm given, and what parts of the music are giving me this feeling. The focus of the instrument that's playing right now, I can't tell if it's wind or if it's something else. But because of it, it brings the focus of the wind. First of all, not to mention the literal picture is wind. But then the accompaniment of the strings really brings that wind feeling of freedom. Gazing from great heights. Ursus. Actually, I wonder if the previous music was clarinet. No, maybe not. It's been a while since I listened to those instruments. On its own, I mean. This kind of music reminds me of those anthem music. I mean, that and also, you know, there's a group right here, which I assume it's their anthem, perhaps. It's very ominous, though. At least with the visuals. It kind of reminds me of those scenes in anime or even in movies where they play something this hopeful and motivating, but then they show like flashbacks, really extremely fast glimpses of what probably happened, its destruction, and just overall there's no hope. So when you go back and see the happy moments, it feels very, very, very ominous. Which I assume is the case here since Ursus has fallen, technically. I mean, look at that. Makes me what exactly happened to all of them. I think over there in the back is Gummy, though, so obviously she joined Rhodes Island. I don't know about the other three. I don't recognize the other three. Oh, I just noticed someone behind her. Wait, who is that? Who's turning the pages? I don't think it's not Calcid, is it? No, it doesn't look like it. It's probably someone else. kind of hard to tell. I thought it was just 4 in the beginning. Can't believe I didn't even notice. I mean, what do you think of this EP? Do you find it to be heartwarming? Does it lift your spirits? Does it give you energy, or does it just give you ominous feelings? I don't think this is in minor keys, so it's definitely a major. So it should technically be better, I suppose. As in hopeful. Lily of the Valley. Suzerain Ark Knight. Oh, this is Suzerains. This one makes me nervous for some reason. I think it's because of the scratching noises. I don't really know how to describe it since I'm not a music producer or anything, but the beat, the lack of other instruments, and the little scratching noise, that sound, it makes me feel like something is going to happen, like something bad's gonna happen. There's like it brings about a level of uncertainty and the build up. It's getting stronger. There's none of the that sound. I don't see it. I don't hear it anymore. That scratching noise. It sounds a lot more secure in the direction that it's going in. So it makes me wonder if she as a character felt very uncertain in the beginning of the path that she was going towards, but then slowly as time passes by, or when things start to happen around her, she's starting to find her path and becoming more certain of what she needs to do. At least that's my guess. I don't really know enough about her story to know if I'm right, but just from the music itself, that's the feeling I'm getting. I could be totally off for every single one though. Except for Blaze, probably. Or the ones with lyrics, maybe. I'm not a music producer, so it's difficult to extrapolate from the EPs. But I do enjoy them. And we have a sudden change here. Oh, we have the scratching again. But it's very minimal now. So maybe she's in a conflict right now with something huge. But then at this time, she's more certain of herself, so she knows what to do, and it's just a matter of going through with it. Rather than being uncertain and getting into a huge conflict of sorts. There's no new melodies here. But it seems like there's another build-up. There we go. There's a switch. I think she has overcome the conflict, whatever it is, at this point. And it's just merely a time of reflection, perhaps? With the way the piano is being used. And while there is that little shh, that sound that I really don't know how to describe it. Scratching? No, this doesn't sound right. Like TV noise? The white noise? Like it's softer. So that's why I feel like it's a time of reflection for this character. Whether it's about what happened during the conflict, her past, and accepting it. It's like her journey of accepting what happened. And now she's reaching the conclusion. with the minimal piano, but nothing else. Oh. Oh, okay. That was a sudden switch. Something's happening here. Maybe another conflict, a bigger one that's beyond what she's capable of tackling? Or else she's reaching the peak of her maturity in her mind. But I feel like it's more of a conflict. But this time she's not alone. I feel like in the before she was alone, but then now she's with other people. And they're helping her overcome whatever it is. Also, this part is just so awesome. Seems like we're coming to an end, perhaps? There's more stuttering. Maybe the conclusion wasn't a very good thing. As if she's very uncomfortable with whatever happened. I feel like that noise, that noise represents the state of her mind. Even though the melody is not as disturbed. So I assume she's currently in the state of mind where she's maturing, but it's obviously something very uncomfortable. But she's starting to accept it, if that makes sense. Emperor, not your business. Part 2. I'm not really sure what this one's about. Emperor, not your business. Kind of wish we had like a image or something, but it said Obsidian Festival, so I assume it's just music that was part of the Obsidian Festival side story. The one with the Heart of Surging Flames, perhaps? It sounds like it would be, actually. But I could be wrong. Let me know down below if I'm wrong. And where this particular music appears in the story or in the game. While I do like the music, this one, I actually prefer the previous ones that I listened to a bit more. Mostly because there were a lot more switches and also there was more texture. I don't really don't know how to explain it. Depth? No, this one also had a lot of depth too. I'm not really sure. I mean, it says Obsidian Festival, so it's typical good festival music, I guess. Like the ones that would hype you up. Yeah, this one is definitely okay. Yeah, so I guess the previous one, this one, and I think the next one are the Obsidian Festival EPs meant for hyping up people. I think they do a good job with that. Especially this one. I really like this one. Because there's a clear melody. So it's much easier to pick up the music. Which one's your favorite out of the 3? The next one is also Obsidian Festival, if I remember correctly. But so far, I like this one the best out of the 3. But I haven't listened to the 3rd one, so I guess we'll see. I guess for the previous one, it was Emperor. So it was a lot heavier than this one for sure. This one feels more like a, are you ready? Hyping up a lot more than the previous one. I feel like this one would have been better as the first one, and then the second would be the Emperor. And then maybe the third one would be the third one, but I haven't really listened to the third one yet, so gotta wait. For now, I'll just enjoy this. Last video for today. Oh. This is like the song that you would use during the peak of a fight. Okay, yeah, I would totally order it as Ready would be the first place for me, and then this one Alive Until Sunset, and then the third would be Emperor. I feel like that would be the best order if we were to introduce it. What about you? How would you order it? And also, which one's your top 3, or which one's your rank 1, 2, and 3? Actually, Alive Until Sunset might be better off being the last one for sure. Because the heaviest sounding one. And I feel like it'll be the best as the finale. Well, that was quite something. I think in the beginning we had some songs that were including lyrics, so that was nice. I also like the fact that they had the lyrics on the screen rather than me having to turn on the CC, so that was helpful. I do realize that I need to play more of the side stories to understand probably the meaning behind the lyrics, but I did give my guesses in the earlier part of the video, so I won't repeat myself. But I did like the general progression of the music with lyrics, and then music that is obviously specifically for each character and most likely a reflection of their life or what they embody in particular. So for example, for Suzuran, I believe that's more along the lines of a reflection of her life. But in a different one, it feels like it's focused more on a single moment or a reflection of the character themselves, whether it's like the embodiment of their values or something about them. I found that to be very interesting. And then obviously the Obsidian Festival, this is more of the music that they used, most likely in the Heart of Searching Flames. I can't recall if they actually did or not. Mostly because you don't really notice the music as much when you're playing the game compared to if you were just to listen to the music on its own. Something that I find to be very interesting, that at least for me, it's kind of difficult to remember music that has played in the game. Unless it has lyrics, I guess, then it's a little easier to tell. But for the ones that don't have lyrics, you feel the ambience that they create with it, but you don't actually hear the music, if that makes sense. Or at least that's the case with me, is that I can feel and appreciate the ambience that the music gives, but I don't recognize the tune, the melody, and all of that on its own for the most part. Quite interesting. I wonder how many of you guys are like that, or if it's just me. I'm pretty sure there are people like me though. Let me know down below if that's the case, so I know that I'm not alone. So my kids, what do you think of today's video? We managed to cover, I think, the first 11 EPs for Ark Knights. There's so much though, so I feel like you can expect so many part videos for this particular thing. So let's etch this into our memory and keep it safe. And as always, formally inviting you to my next tea party, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. Who is that? That was Ririna. So until the next one then, bye.